Hello everyone, this is Professor Kent. Today we are going to do Module 6. We're going to skip Module 5. Module 5 will be covered later on in the course. Again, you need to learn how to download, how to set up how to work with class app and how to set up the database. So let's do it one more time. Click on the class app. Use your login to log into the class app. Make sure you remember your password. Once you log in, what you're doing is you're going to click on the class app Windows 10, and you're going to double click, and that's going to download the class app that you're working with. So this is the procedure you have to do when you write your test, when you use any of the anytime you're working with your Omni files or the challenge exercise files. So this is the class apps is used in person, if you're in person or you are working from home. So it's the same steps. So you have to be patient for the system to download the software on your desktop that you're going to work with. So I'm just going to stay here and wait. The system is still doing what it needs to be doing, and then we're just going to wait patiently. A little more patience. Depending on the internet, sometimes the internets are faster and sometimes they are not. In this case, my internet isn't as fast as the college internet, but it takes the same amount of time. So now I know everything is here, and I have two desktops. One is my own desktop and one is the class app. We're working with class app desktop. So I'm going to close this. Before I go into it, I'm going to open the file folder from the bottom, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to go to my H drive. From the H drive, I want my lesson 4 data files. So in this case, if you look at it, you should always have 4 files. If you don't have it, that means you did not dump your files right. You have to start from the lesson before. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take these files, the lesson 4 files, and I'm going to put it onto my desktop to make my life easier, because I needed to connect lesson 4 files into lesson 6. So again, we're skipping lesson 5, but we will revisit lesson 5. So you're going to click on the start button, and then you're going to look for SQL Server 14, MSQL Server 14. Click on that, expand it. You're going to go to Management Studio. I've been keep showing you these steps. You need to do these steps on your own when you have a test. I'm not going to be helping you with the test. You have to do it on your own, because I have shown you for every module that we have done so far. So this is our 5th module. Even though it's a 6th module, the 5th time I'm showing it. So what you're going to do is, in this case, when you come here, you're going to say browse for more, and then you're going to expand your database engines. You're going to select your 3rd one, and then you're going to control and V, because you need control V, because I did control X instead of control V. So let's do it one more time. Control V, control C, sorry. Keep making the mistake. It does happen. I'm going to do control C. There we go. And then go to the next one, SQL Server. SA is your username. Password is SQL SERVER. And then we're going to connect Once we connect, what we needed to do is we needed to do this creating set up two new databases. In this case, we are only working with Omni. Our first one will be, I'm going to expand it so you see what we're doing. So your first one will be OmniSys. So OMNSYS, and it's going to be change the size to 6, and then you're going to say okay, not add, okay. Then you're going to go to the next one more database you're going to create. It will be your Omni OMN dat, and that's also 6. You could increase it, or you could increase it, or you could change it to 6, whatever you find it easy. So now what we've done is we created two database files in MSQL Server. So close this. Now we're going to go to our file, to our app again, and what you're going to do with the window app, and then you're going to do is Sage. You're going to go to Sage, and under the Sage you're going to do a setup. So this thing has these two things, you have to repeat it every time. So it'll be admin, and you're going to say okay. You're going to delete these ones. We don't need these ones because we are only working with OmniSys. These are extra files. So now we're going to do Omni. So your first database is OmniSys, OMNSYS. And then what you're going to do is you're going to paste here what you brought from the from your MSQL server, and everything is lower letter SQL server, and then database name is your OmniSys. So these has to be right. If they're not right, then your system is not going to connect. So OmniSys, we say okay. Then we do the new one, and it will be your Omni OMN dat, and we go okay. Now the description will be the name of the company. It'll be Omni Electrical Limited Ltd, and the server name will be the same name that we brought from SQL server. It should always be class app. So if you don't have a class app, that means you did not pick the right server. So server, and the database name will be OmniDat, and then we say okay. Sorry. SQL server. So sometimes you get an error message because if you don't enter the right user login and a password. So the both are there. I exit. Now what you're doing is you're ready to start your module 6, and the files you're bringing in is for module 4. We are going to go to Sage, and what we're going to do is we are going to do database load. I'm going to do database load. Your username, user ID is admin. Your password is also admin. We say okay, admin. In this case, we have to set a new directory. You're going to browse from desktop. So this PC and desktop. So you have to be outside the folder, not inside the folder. So highlight that folder, and then say okay, and then say browse. So you browsed it, say okay. You're gonna get two files here, two database. One is OmniDat, and OmniSys. So I do the sys first, then you say next, then you go to this one, next, and when you're at this level, you're going to finish. So it's going to update everything. Once everything gone, that means everything is done. I say I'm going to close it. Once you close it, now you're ready to start with your lecture 6. So you're going to go to Sage again, and now you're ready to do your Sage 300. So I click on that. Now the database is loaded. We know that we created one batch entry for our opening opening balances. So your password is admin. In this case, if you look at it now, what we needed to do is our session date will be your 01/31/2021. So that's the session date we are working with. So that's the session date we are working with. We say okay. I think what I did is I changed it to I had it 30. Sorry, we have to do it 31/01, and it's 2021. Sorry. So it's the day, month, and year. So in this case, that if you have forgotten your password, so we need it. If you, in other words, they said that maybe I didn't remember my password. I do remember my password. So in this case, system is going to do what I needed to be done. So now if you, I don't know, something happened, but it does happen in this case. Sometimes system kicks you out. Some reason, if it happens, means we already loaded the file. All we had to do is to go into Sage 300 again. Sometimes it does happen. Sometimes it does happen. So admin, and it is, let's leave the 30/01/2021. But I will show you how to change your session date too. If the session date, so it's there, everything is there. Because last time on my files I use 30/31. So if I were to go into my home window, I can always change my date there too, but we don't need to worry about it because it's in the same month. So if I go in here, I expand. So when I expand, what I needed to do is I wanted to see if I have my batch that we did in the last the batch list. If I go to my batch list, it should show me the first batch that we did in our last class. And what we did is we entered it, we made it ready, we printed it, and we posted it. So it is there, batch 1 is there. So now what we are doing is we're starting off with our next batch. So this batch will be batch 2. So in other words, we have to go, how do we do it? Double click on journal entry. In this case, our batch number, if you look at it, what you're going to do is if you could go backward or forward. In this case, if you look for it, batch 1 should be there, right? If I wanted to find all the batches, but I don't need to worry about it. If I wanted to add a new batch, I only press it once. Don't do it too many times. So if I do it once, it comes with batch number 2. It should be batch number 2. Our first batch was for opening balance. In this case, it will be sales, the journal sales, and we're doing the sales for January, and it will be for 2021. So everything that we're doing here is in 2021. So in this case, the document date is 2021. Now we are already advanced our date. So in this case, what we're going to do is it wants you to tab it over. It's our first entry. In this case, they want to call it a John. Who did we sell it to? We sold it to John James. So we sold it to John James. So this is the one. Now we needed to do is we needed to change the date. In this case, the date is January 3rd. You can use the calendar right beside it to do that. And what type of journal is it? It's a sales journal, and you have to make sure this is done right. So it's my sales journal. So in this case, what we're going to do is we are going to tab it over, and what we needed to do is we needed to do a quick. Once you do a quick, it goes to your line 1, and then you're going to do your reference, and the reference will be your invoice number. So I am going to type invoice number 1007, and I tab it over, and it's the description. Description is who did we sell it to? John James, and then the account number. You could do it the finder to find it, or you could just type it. In this case, we are given is 1100, and that's the accounts receivable. And what we wanted to do is the debit is 395.50, so that's my debit account. So I'm going to tab it all the way to go to the next one. If you look at it, every line to whatever is in the first line, it also goes to the second line. The only difference is that if you don't go to the second line, you can also use the insert button to jump to the second line. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted 4,500, and that is for 100. So that's for my sales. So in other words, I do not need to put a hyphen. System is smart and it will do the hyphen. And what we're going to do is, in this case, it's a credit account. Our credit is 350. So now if that's the case, what we wanted to do is, system is saying that what we wanted to do is we can also use our calculator to calculate it. How do we do it? If you're here and we wanted to calculate it, and all you have to do is press the plus button on your screen, and I'm going to do that. Shift. In this case, for me, my keyboard, I'm going to do a fresh. I'm going to do shift plus. So what you have is you have 350. What we wanted to do is we wanted to do an HST. In other words, what we are doing is how you could use your calculator in here if you don't know the GST amount. So your GST account is 3,100. I'm going to go tab it over, and we want to know what is the amount. There's two ways of doing it. If you look at it, your entries out of balance for 4510, or what we're going to do is, just like the way I was showing you, you could use the calculator by doing the plus button. We know our sales were 350, multiply by the 13%, and this is my 13% is my HST, and the amount for your HST is 4550. So that's the amount, 4550. I don't know, something is not showing at the other one. What I wanted to do is I can always paste it. So in other words, the calculator calculates it, and you could do it. And if you go to the tab somewhere else, it automatically gives you the balance. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add it in one batch. You can do more than one entry. So this was your first entry, and what I wanted you to do is go to exercise 6.1 at the bottom of your page 6. What you're going to do is you're going to keep adding your entry 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and enter them. So in this case, what you're going to do is, you have to do your entry. In this case, this entry is for BC Electric. So this entry is for BC Electric. So what you're going to do is the date is that of January 1st, and I tab it over, and it is your sales journal. What you could do is you could just type SA just to be just quick. In this case, I'm going to go to reference. Reference is your invoice number, and it is 1008. I tab it over to my description. Description will be your BC Electric. So who did we sell it? The account will be, in this case, the system told you 100 is your first one, and it's 2380 is your first account. Tab it over. You're going to tab it, or you can do insert. So next one is your 4500, and it is for 100. 4500, 100. Go down to your sales. That's 2025. So some 2125. Tab it over, and then next one is your HST. In this case, the HST account is your 3100 GST/HST payable, and the amount is 255. So we know that entry is correct. You have to save the entry in order for it to balance. So in other words, if you click it somewhere else, it automatically balance it. So I will add it. So I go to my next entry. That's your entry number 3, and then it is for the cash sales. So in this case, your entry description will be your cash sales. And then in this case, close. We have to, you can't be too quick either. So when did we do this entry? We did it on the 6th, and then it will be for the SA, and then go forward. And then what we're going to do is reference will be my cash sales. My description will be, in this case, will be cash account. Again will be my cash account, bank and checking account, and then if debit is your 655.40. Move forward, go tab to the next one, and then what is the next one? 45,200. That's your second one. You could also use the finder. In this case, on the next transaction, I will show you how to use the finder. So, and then we have 3,100, and that is your $75.40, and it is on my credit side. So I did something wrong, I know that. 75.40. Now what you have is my credit, your sales account should be 580 as stated in our exercise 6. So what we're going to do is we are going to add everything. No, we did not do this right. If you look at it, my date isn't right. The date should be 6th. So January 6th. So I don't know what I did with my other ones. I just wanted to double check if my dates are right. You have to pay attention to the dates. We can all make mistakes. In this case, it will be January. Our date is for January 21st. I'm going to add it. I can double check if my third one, my other ones are right. Yes, this is right because we haven't posted anything. Everything should be in your January 2021. So I'm going to go to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 4th one, and that's my next one, my 4th one. And I'm going to do is we are going to add it. So let's go here. And what are we doing? We're selling it to, we're doing a transaction for transaction for Thomas. We sold it to Thomas Company. In this case, what we did is Thomas Company. So what we're going to do is we change the date. The date will be your 06, January 6th. Let's do that. Once we do that, we have to go to the calendar. Let's do the calendar, and they want you to use a date of 15. So let's use the date 15, and it's a sales journal. And what we're going to do is the reference will be the invoice number, and it is 968. Let's go to the description is the name of the company. So in this case, it's Thompson Company. And the account number is 1100. Now I want to use the finder. If you select on the finder, and I wanted my the 1100 account, which is your accounts receivable, I select it. So that's one way of doing it, or you can type it if you know what the number is. So in this case, 5678.25, and we're going to go to the next line. I tab it over. And then my next one is your 45,200, 45,200, 4,500, 4,500, 200. That's your sales account. It's just 5025. In this case, they told us we don't know what the GST is. Are you able to calculate it? Yes, we could use a calculator, or the other way we could do it is use the calculator that is given to us in the in this module. It'll be shift plus to use it. And then what was our sale? Our sale was 5025 multiply by the 13%, and that will give equal to, that'll give me what our HST amount is going to be, and you can paste it. Once you paste it, the balance, your entry balances. In this case, your entry is balanced. Now we're going to show you what happens if your entry doesn't balance and you post it. So we're going to show you in this one how your entry doesn't balance and you post it. So let's do that. We will add it, and then we're going to go to our sixth one. In this case, did I miss one? No, we're going to still do the fifth one. I want to fast forward. In this case, no, I don't want to fast forward. In this, it is US metal. This is the one, and my date will be, my date is 15. I think I must have used the wrong date for my other one. I can always fix the date because nothing has posted. The reference will be invoice number 1009, and who did we sell it to? US metal. So this is 3058. So we have done, add it. So that's the 5. I just want to know what I did in 5. Did I do it right? 5 is that. What did I do with 4? Because I just want to know. See this date, Thomas one. I inputted a wrong date. Nothing has posted. If you realize that you did the wrong date, you could fix it. So, and then once you fix it, you have to save it. So it has to be the right date. So I'm going to go to my sixth one. I add the sixth one. In this case, it's January 30th. Who did we sell it to? Lang Machinery. So we sell it to Lang Machinery. This entry is not balanced. We want it, this is for sure it's not balanced. What we want to do, we know that we have a mistake, and we wanted to show you what happens if it's not balanced, and then you post it. And we're going to show you how to fix it if it happens. So invoice 1010, reference will be your Lang Corporation. No, Lang Machinery, sorry. Excuse me, sorry. And then the account is your 1010. And go to the next one. Your debit is your 11938.58. We are sure that this, we're going to go to the next one. Our next one is 45100, and that is 100. Tab it over, and that is your 10566.00, and then go forward. And then what happens is that we are going to go to our next one, that's 3100, and tab it over. We know that we're out here because what we wanted to do is 1273.58. Our entry should be out. It does not. Okay, sorry, I don't know what I did here. I was trying to do it here. So 1273.58. It should be out by $100. In this case, no, it does not. So in this case, it's 1938.58, 1056. I thought this entry was out by 100, but it's out by $99. In this case, the entry should have been out by Oh yeah, it 100 because I have entered this wrong. It should be 9 11 939. It doesn't matter. Our entry doesn't balance. We know that entry doesn't balance. What we do is we added, when we added, system is saying the entry is out of balance. So what we wanted to do is, we know that because we purposely did that. If that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to close it, and we know that it is out of balance. If you look at it outside in the right side of your screen, it is also telling you that the entry doesn't balance. So what we did is we added it. Now what we add in batch 2, we know the right side, that's the balance in your batch 2, the right side of the screen, you say. But we intentionally did this. If we intentionally did that, we know that we are going to fix this later. So we're going to what we're doing is, now we needed to create a new batch. What you could do is, there's a different way of doing it. You could do it here, or you could close it. If you close it, you're going to double click on here, so you could have a fresh screen. I wanted to add another batch. It will be your batch 3. It is on exercise 16.1 and on page 7 of your printout. So in this batch, we want this batch to be called cash receipt batch. So we have a cash receipt batch. So we're going to post all the batches in one go. But at this point, we're opening up a lot of batches. And then what is going to be the entry? It will be your in this case, what will be your batch 3? In this case, who did you receive this from? Johnson and Johnson. So in this case, Johnson and Sons. So that's where we got the money from. What is the date? The date, again, it is going to be your January 3rd. So let's do that. Tab it over, and it is CR. In this case, it is a cash receipt, and I'm going to go to line 1. Line 1, the reference is my who did we receive this money from? In this case, it's on account. Everything is done from GL because our AR module isn't ready yet. We haven't done that. Johnson and Son. Johnson and Sons. Son, and then go to my account. It is 1000, and my debit, that's my debit account. It is 6852, and then go to the next account, tab it over. My next account will be your 1100. In this case, that's your accounts receivable, and we're receiving money from them. So that will be your credit. So in this case, that is your credit. So tab it over, and then what happens is, in this case, the system says that balance is out of balance. No, it's not out of balance. So in other words, we have to tab it over in order to see that we are not balanced. So you have to tab it over, and then I will add it. In this case, my date is right, so everything is correct. I add it to, this is my first entry. You're going to add your second entry. Your second entry will be for the second, who did we receive it? In this case, it is Smith and family. When are we receiving it? On the 9th. So 9th, and then you tab it over to get it, to accept it. So line 1, my reference will be on account. So it will be on account. Description will be, who are we receiving it from? Smith and family. Account will be your 1000. Go to the next one, how much we're receiving. We're receiving 2000. Tab it over to the next line, and it is 1100. So now you could, now I don't have to say it. So you, on 7, you're going to complete 3 and 4, and if you're watching it, you could watch the screen. So and again, you have to add it before you could move to the next one. So it's on account, and then description is the company Jason Limited, and then we debit the 1,000. That's your cash account. Your debit will be 4,300. Go tab again, go to the next one, and that is your so I have to add it and then go forward to our last one, and that is on the 19th, and it's from Brownstone Inc. Reference is on account. Description is who we receive it from, Brownstone, and the account is your 1,000 and you 10,350. Go to your next one. It is your 1,100, and you're going to credit. So what we did is, now we have it told you at the bottom your batch total, means whatever we entered, it should be your 13,150. Because it should, if I add it at the right side, 23,502 should be, and it should have 4 entries, and we did that right. So now what we're going to do is, we wanted you to do a next batch by creating batch number 4, which is on page 8, batch number 4, which is on batch 8. So I'm going to do it from here. I'm going to create a new batch, and then the name of the batch will be payroll. We want a payroll January 2021. So we wanted to create a payroll batch, and the reference will be, in this case, your description is your reference. It's a office staff electrical division. So what we're doing is we're paying the office people for the electric division. When are we doing it? Now, when are we doing it? We needed to, so in this case, we are doing a payroll. So our source code is going to be PR. So our source code will be PR. Our reference will be, for the first one, it is for payroll. We're going to have a payroll. Description will be our office staff electrical. And the account, they want us to charge 6070 100, and we're going to tab it over, and that's your first one, 2544. Keep moving to the next line, and then the next account is 6090 100, and that is for your expense account, and we are charging it to, the amount we're charging is 97.44. Go to the next line. Again, you can also do a tab if you wanted to do it faster. Insert, not tab, insert 6080 100, and that is for you're paying for CPP 61.66. Go forward, the 6100, and it's a 100 going forward. That's the taxes on the benefits, 3360, and then we're going to go to the following line, and it's 1010, and we're going to charge, it's a credit 16.8. 82.50. 132.50, and that is 144. $167.04. 32.10. Want to know if our entry balance? Yes, our entry balance, because we know that it's not out of balance. And what we're going to do is you're going to add it, and then what we want to do is we want to do entry 2, and it's for we're paying the staff in our machinery division, MAC. And then when are we paying? On the last day. So let's do that. And it is for payroll. So you could do PR, or you could just go to the finder and do that too. So we are going to do, first reference is, it's a payroll, and it is payroll. Sorry, the reference will be, the description is your office staff machinery. The account is, now the accounts are given to you. You know which account is a debit account. For your expenses accounts are your debits. So 6090200, and it is 129.92. $6,080,200, and that is the amount, $85.06. So you are going to finish all the 4 entries, so go ahead and finish them. I'm doing it as we go to so it seems like a time consuming, but that's what we're getting paid to do, is the payroll, right? So here we're doing it as an accountant. We're told to do these transactions. So the next one will be your 3210. You could always use a ruler. Most people use a ruler to get it to work, to go faster. So I am talking at the same time, so that's why it's a little bit slower for me. So 3200. Okay, so now we want to know of our entry balance. Yes, our entry balance. You add and move to the third one. When you move to the third one, we're paying for the plant staff, electrical, plant staff. Making it on that day, so it's PR. Let's leave it. And we are going to go to the first one. Reference is your payroll, so we're making a we are paying this journal entry for the pay. Who are we paying? Plant staff. So in this case, plant staff, electrical division. So in this case, the first one will be, it's just the same transactions, but we're paying different amounts to them. And the next one is your second entry, 27 for the wages for the EI expense, 272.82. Move it over to the next line. My next account is 6080-100. And the amount is $170.94. Tab it over to the next one, and what we're going to do is we want to go to our next expense account, which is your EHT expense, and that is $94.08. Moving forward to our next one, and that will be your the expense, the account that we're making a payment out of, and that is 4712.28. Move to the next line. So the next account will be CPP payable 3250. It's a vacation payable, sorry, and that is 268.80. Go to the next one. Then we go to 3220. So this entry also balanced. We're left with one more transaction, one more journal entry. I'm going to add it, and then what we're going to do is we move to the next batch, which is going to be your falling batch, batch number 5, and we're going to show you how to enter a batch and how to delete it. So that's where we're going to go, but let's do the last one that we have here, plant staff. We're making it last one, and it's a PR. The reference will be payroll. Description will be plant staff, MACH machinery. Account is 60 70200, and it's a debit account. I know it seems like a lot, but we don't have a choice. Now, if it doesn't go to the next one, what you have to do is you have to do the insert button, right? If it doesn't go. So sometimes it does happen that it doesn't go to the next one. When it doesn't do it, then I think sometimes I make a mistake too, or you're not typing, you're not following what the screen is because we're too busy looking at the paper that we don't know what we are typing. Sometimes it does happen. So this, I'm not saying that this is the case in this case, because it's not. If it doesn't go to the next one, you could go to you press your insert button and it goes to the next one. So let's do my next one, 61. Some once in a while it does do that, it acts up, but most of the time your tab key will work. So most of the time tab key does work to go to the next one. If it doesn't, that means at that time you have to remember that you have to do the insert button if it doesn't go to your next line. So I'm just going to quickly finish that. You have to do it yourself too, so you can come to the same page as me. Okay, let's go further. What we are done with this entry. So we're done with everything we needed to do. Let's see if our entry balance. Yes, it does balance. So we're done with the 8. In this case, they told us the question. They told us that the balance is 20,362.90. I have to add this transaction in order to come up with that balance. So we are at that balance. So what we done is we're done up to page 8. So now what we wanted to do is the next is we want to create a new batch, and then we wanted to delete that batch. First we have to add that batch before we could delete it. So this is batch number 5 and it is called a bank loan. We're going to show you later on how to delete. We're going to show you how to delete this batch by entering it. Sometimes we make a mistake. So what we do is we enter the batch, and now I'm going to show you how how the batch is created. In this case, that's what we are doing. 2021, we're creating a batch, and it's for the description. It's a description is your account number. This loan is for account number that we're paying is 28795, and is what is the date. In this case it's January 31st, which is right, and it is a journal entry. If it's a journal entry, it's JE for the journal entry. So in this case it's a quick, and the reference will be bank loan. So let's do that. Bank loan, and the description will be ACCCT number is your 28795. So what is the account number they want you to charge it to? 3,000. That's your debit account, and that's $2,500. Now, if you think about it, if you're paying a loan, it shouldn't be accounts payable. It should be a loan payable, right? So that's why that they're saying that it is incorrect, right? So this is what we did. So in this case, our balance will be 2,500. So what we're going to do is now we're going to close this window by adding it. So we have to add this in order to the computer to select it so we can delete it. I'm going to add it. Now I'm going to close this window. If I go to my batch list, number 5 will be my bank loan. And then what I wanted to do is, I don't delete it. You have to be in here. You have to highlight what you want to delete. So if I want to delete this one, you could delete any one, but we don't want any delete. We only want this one to be deleted. So that one should be highlighted in order for you to delete it. And then when I do it, delete it, it is going to do it, delete batch 5, and I say click on yes. In this case, it's deleted. You see it is still here, but it's not going to post it. So in this case, it is here, but it's not going to post it. So I'm going to close it. So you can enter the batch. If you realize that you saved it, the only way to delete it is by going into the delete batch to delete it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to, the next batch is how to zoom in and out of the batches. That's what it means. Now there's a different way of creating the batch. So what we're doing is, in this case, we have to be in journal entry, and when you're in the journal entry, what we have to do is we have to create a new batch. In this case, the new batch is batch number, this should be our 6th batch, which is correct. That's what they're telling you in batch 10. What another way of doing it? In this case, it is accounts receivable adjustments. That's the name of your description of your batch, accounts receivable adjustment. So in this case, this is my first journal entry, and then what I want to do is the description will be accounts receivable adjustment. And when are we doing it? At January 31st. And then this batch is going to be SA. They want you to do it because it's related to the sales. So let's do SA, select it. Now what they want you to do is select quick. We already selected the quick. Now what they want you to do is on the press tab to bypass the auto reverse. So in this case, we're bypassing the so if you're in quick, bypass the auto. And then if you on the first transaction detail line, so this is the detail line. I wanted to press F9, and on my screen I have to find it, function F9. So this window will come up. So what they're doing is they want you to enter it in a different way. So this will be the journal entry details. So in this case, they want you to type as a reference. In other words, this is another way of entering it, and some people find this easy, but I find the normal way where I could see it is easy. So but we have to show it. This is the way to do it. And the description will be your adjustment. So this will be your adjustment. So So when, in other words, they want you to do an account, you could look for it, or you could just type 1100. That's the adjustment they're making, and they want you to tab it over. And when is the adjustment? Date adjustment is for this date, and they want you to do everything. In other words, we have a debit account and we have a credit account. So in this case, the adjustment we're making it, we want the account to be a credit. So in this case, it's 1100, and we want this account to be a we have to bypass the debit and we go to the credit, and the amount is 5678.25. So that's what they want you to do. So in other words, that's what they want you to enter. It should be in the credit amount. So then what you're going to do is you're going to click on the add, and then it will go to the second line. So if you see it on the background, it is if you see it in the background, it is inputting what we are inputting in this one. So this is a different way of doing it. So in other words, the next one will be, we want to do the transaction, the next number, account number, they want you to charge it to 4500 and 4500 200 account. And then what is the debit amount? In this case, they want you to do the debit amount. It will be 5025. And what they want you to do is select the essay. It's already been done. What I wanted to do is they want you to add it. So now once you add it, automatically go to the next one, and the system is smart, saying that give us the next number. In this case, it's 3100, and then rest your same. In this case, what do we do it? It's a debit, and debit will be your 653.25. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that. So when you add that, click on close. Now, whatever we did in the transaction, what happens is whatever we did before, it came up. So we have a credit and we have a debit. And what we did is, what you have to do is now you come back and you kind of do see if the entry balance, yes, the entry balance, you're doing an adjustment. In this case, you wanted to make sure you have the right account where you're entering them to, and this is a reversing entry. So this is another way of a different way of adding a transaction. So now the next part of the exercise where we're going to do is we are going to go to the batch list window to see if all the batches are there. So we're going to exercise 6.6. That's where you're going to go, because what we wanted to do is we wanted to print and post all the batches. So I'm going to do is I'm going to add it here. Once we add it, we're going to close it. And if I wanted to do the batch list, so in this case, I go to my batch list. So if you look at it, it will show same way it's shown into this GL transaction window. So this is what it is. So in this case, what we wanted to do is you will be posting all the batches together. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to post them all together. If I do it here, I have to do individually. So I have to go to each one, make them ready, and then it's going to only go one by one, but I don't want to do one by one. You have a choice of doing it, but we wanted to post all of them together. In a real life, you might have 20 batches there, right? So you don't want to go through each one. So you're going to close this window, then you're going to go to post batches. When you, in this case, you want all the batches to be posted, and you're going to, this window is going to come up, and what you're going to say is click on post. They said no batches are ready to post. So in this case, you will receive an error message. Yes, we are going to do it. So what we're going to do is, for this, we have to make the batches ready before we could post it. So there is no batch ready to post. So what we have to do is we have to go and make them ready before we can come back and do this. So that needs to be individually done. In this case, we have to make the status ready to post, which we did it in the previous example. In this case, system is telling us we don't have any batch that are ready to post. So we're going to close, and we're going to close. What we're going to do is we are going to go to our batch list, and we're going to make them ready. And then you're going to go through each one and make them ready. Where there's a yes, turn into yes. So this is what we're going to do, turn them into yes. So if you look at it, when you the deleted one, it won't let you make it ready because we deleted that batch. So you could post all here, or you could go from the post batch to do that. So whatever you find it easy, that's the one you're going to do. So it doesn't have to be in this one. You could do, the system is telling you can post all here, or you could go to the post batches. So the book is in the exercise. What they're doing is they are asking you to close the window, and they want you to go into the other window, and then they wanted you to post it there. So I showed you how to do it. If you go to the post batches, and you can post all the batches. So if I close the window, I go in here, and then I can always give them a range which one I wanted to post. In this case, if I said click on post, system is going to come back, and you get the same error message that you're getting at the top of 6.6. So they're saying that we have an error batch, because remember we had one journal, one account where it wasn't balanced. So if I do a print, if you look at it, when you're going to do a print, make sure before you do this, we should have had our system ready. Our printer should be at a print profile. Our printer should have been on your destination should have been preview, and I don't have that. So in this case, before you do the posting, I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to make my system, my printer to be a preview. So in this case, I always do these ones, but I didn't print it. In this case, I did not do that. So once we have done it, it won't let you, if I go back now, everything is posted, right? So post is going to say nothing to post. So there's nothing to, so we had to, before you print, make sure your print destination is to a preview before you could do that. But that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. So I'm going to go back to the print batch list. If you look at it now, we have an error batch. Now this error batch is telling us our one account that is not balanced. So in other words, it's telling us it is not balanced. We know that this isn't balanced. So the way to go is that we wanted to know how you could figure out which balance, which batch is a problem. So that's what you're going to. So we are here. So now what we wanted to do is we want to know which error batch is a problem. So let's find out which one has a problem. So we're going to close this, make sure your printer is set up on a preview, which our printer is set up as a preview. In order for me to do that, I'm going to go to the reports, and I'm going to go to the posting journals, and I'm going to say print. When I print, it's going to be a PDF. Of course, it's going to create a PDF. It's going to take time. So in this case, we have a lot of pages, right? So if you look at it, I'm going to go to page number 10. That's where your debit. They're saying we did a journal entry. Details, debit and credit do not balance in journal 6. And that's where the mistake is. So we know where the mistake is. Now we're going to go back, and what we're going to do is we can print this report if you want to, but we don't need to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to close this. So once we see where the mistake is, of course, it's always going to be on the last page. Do not, I'm going to say, do not delete any. So do not delete any. We're going to go back to to journal entry. And then what we're going to do is click on the, beside the double click. I'm going to say that. And then what you're going to do is, we know it's a batch number 7 is the problem, right? So in this case, if I were to do this, if I do this, it's automatically, if it's a new batch, it's automatically going to going to tell me the one with the problem. So what I wanted to do is, that's the batch is a problem. So I'm going to highlight it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that batch. So when you select it, don't delete it. We're going to select it. Now what we're going to do is, we knew where the mistake was. The mistake is here. So what we're going to do is, we're going to tab it over to that account, and then we're going to change it to 1373.58. That's what the number should have been. And then we wanted to make this entry balance. Now our entry balance, so once the entry is balanced, the out of balance in the right side is 0. What we're going to do is, we are going to you could save it, click close, and or now it's not balanced anymore. Now we're going to process this batch. That is done the same way. I'll just save it and I will close it, and then we're going to go to our batch list. And if I go to this batch list, this one, now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to convert this into your make it ready. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to have one. You're going to do is, you're going to go make it ready, and then what you're going to do is, you're going to post that. Now posting sequence is completed. You're supposed to print it. I'm not going to waste time printing it. Now, even though it's an arrow batch, now the arrow batch is printed now. So sometimes what some companies do is that they change the name into it. So it's no longer an arrow batch. Now it's a fixed batch, but don't worry about it. Even though it says the description, some companies, what they do is they change the description. But in this case, we're not doing that. So in this case, everything that we did it should be. It shouldn't be any mistakes in here. So in other words, we always need to do print the batch, make it ready, print it, and post it. So those are always going to be the things. So I can always print them as we go in this I can range it from which batch I wanted to post it from. I print it from, I can select from 1 to 5, and the source could be anything. If you look at it, you could print them to afterwards. So in other words, it's always important you to post all the batches. So in this case, you could print as many. So in this case, it's only making me do the 6th and the 7th last one, but you could do as many you want. In other words, you could do as many we want. So you can always print them from the date too. So if I were to do the date, I wanted to print all those ones, system will remember which date I used. In this case, we have more than one. So you have to specifically tell them which date you wanted to do. Now what we wanted to do is, we wanted to enter another batch, which is going to be batch number 8. And what we're going to do is, we are going to show you how to export a batch. So this is the next one, is how to export a batch. So that if you look at it, we have 7 batches. We only created 6 of them. 7 were batch. 7th was the one we had a mistake, arrow batch. It is counted as a batch. So we're going to close it, and again we're going to open a new batch, and that batch is going to be our batch number 8, which is right. So in this case, they want you to enter the following in this batch. What is this called? It's an expense. So just like that, we wanted to export this batch. So in this case, it will be expense, and it will be called January 2023. So that will be January, and the first entry you have to add. There's 4 transactions that you needed to enter, and then our description will be again the first one is for the Office Depot. So the first one is for the Office, and when are we doing it? We're doing it on the 8th. So in this case, we're doing it on the 8th. Tab it over. What type of it is PU? So you're going to go to the Finder and find out your PU. So that's where you're going to do. It's going to be a quick, and the entry doesn't change. So the first one is your reference. In this case, it's invoice number 8961. So it's 8961. And then the description is the Office Depot. And the account number is 6200 100, and the amount is 246. And then going forward, and the next line is for your 3110, and that is for your 31.98 going forward. Then you go to the next line, and that is your 3000. That's your next account. Let's go there, and then it's 277.98. So that's my first transaction. Again, I have to add it. That's your entry number 1. Our dates are correct. You go to the next one. That's your entry 2. It is again for the Office Depot, and the date is 9th. And it's PU, and the reference is your invoice number 9158. The account 6200 100. And then debit is $89. The credit is 3110, 1157. 3000 is the next one, and the amount is 157, and our entry balance, of course. And I'm going to do is we are going to add to go to the next one. We're left with 2 more, so this is 2 more we have left, so let's do that. The third entry, and it is for Maynard Insurance. Nice. So that's the invoice number, and the account they want you to description is Maynard Insurance, and the account they want us to charge to 6040, and the amount is 2100. That's for the insurance. Go to the forward. Next one is your 3110. The amount is your $27.30. Go to the next one, and the next one is your 3000. So we have to add it. Once we add it, we go to 27. Okay. So we add it now. This is our last one, and Bell Canada is my last one. And the date is 21st. I go 21st, and then it is your PU, and then you're going to go to the first line. Your reference is invoice number 012119. So that's the reference number. The description is your Bell Canada, because that's what the this entry is for. The amount is 6020, and it is 124. Going forward with the next one, next tab it over 3110, and the amount is $16.12. And we're going to go over to our next line, and that is your 3000, and that is a credit for 140. So what we're doing is, in this case, the total debits and credits are there, so we add it. So our debits and credits are this, and they said that do not post this because we don't want to post it. We wanted to do is we wanted to learn how to export it. In order for us to do, leave the journal entry open for the batch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, now this is where we're going to be exporting it. We're going to do file. There's import. Remember, we learned how to do importing. Now we're doing exporting. From here, you're going to click on the export, and then then you're going to come up with here. It's going to be a single CSV file. So that's what you're going to collect. And then when you're going to go to the file, there's a drop-down window under the file. What we're going to do is we wanted to see what type of files or where you wanted to save it. In this case, if you click on the browse and then where, it doesn't matter where you're going to do it. I'm going to do it on this PC, so because that's where my desktop is. You could double click on anywhere you wanted to do it. Choice is your. What you're doing is you wanted to save this file name. I'm going to do it under this. I want to name this file as an expenses. This will be my file called expenses. So I'm just going to do expenses, and then it will be CSV file. So in this case, that's the file is going to be. I'm going to say save it. That's what it's going to do. So once it's saying it's on my desktop, it's called expenses. Once you do that, and you're going to say in this case, you're going to okay. So the top is saying that this is what is going to be displayed. It is shown as a figure 6.21, and this is exported. So in other words, if I needed to do this, I could use this exporting and then I can import it into a chapter. We're going to show you how to import them. So in this case, we are going to close this and leave the journal entry window. So how do you leave the journal entry window open for the rest of the exercise? That's what they're saying. So we're doing it, importing and exporting at the same time. So you're doing importing and exporting in the same time. So in this case, that's what you're going to do, importing and exporting at the same time. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to be in the same here. This is the expenses for January. We want to use the same expenses and change the amount and become a February. So you could do export it and import it. So if I were to learn how to import it, you're going to be doing the same thing the way we learned it previously. If I go to the import, click on the, in this case, I could do it at the same time. So this was the batch that we did, right? So what I wanted to do is, this is the batch number 8. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted to import the same batch that we exported. We wanted to import it. So what we wanted to know is what this was the 8th. So we should go to batch number 9 in order to do the exporting, because this is the same batch. If I go here, now it's a batch number 9. Under the batch number 9, I'm going to say it's now, I wanted to bring this batch into your February. So this is the way you import it, and I can always change the date, even though we haven't gone forward to February, but I can always make it so that it is available for us in the month of February. So in this case, February 2023, click on the type expense in the February in the batch description. We did that. You're going to go to file, and you're going to do now, if some of you guys got an error message when you're creating the chart of accounts, please try to do it the same. Take it easy when you're doing it. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to import. The import will be where do we importing it from. In this case, it's going to be single CS file, and you click on the browse. And the browse, you're going to select the file that we just put it in here. It was on this PC and it was under the expenses. And then you're going to click open, and then if this message is going to come up. If you look at it in your figure 6 2020, everything is there. And what you wanted to do is, in this case, you wanted to go to the to see if you can load this file into your you can load this file into the February. That's what you wanted to do. The purpose of importing is bringing up from one month to the next month, one file to another one. Now what they want you to do is they said in this window will come, click on the journal header, this one. When you do that, if you click on it, and then it's saying what you wanted to do. In other words, you want to tell the computer what to do. So in this case, you're going to right click it. If you you're going to right click it in order to, so make sure your general header is highlighted. And then what we wanted to go to the physical period, and what we wanted to do is the fifth physical period will be, in this case I have to make it enlarged, so let's do that. I'm going to make it enlarged. So this is so that we are able to do that. What we're going to do is the value for the window, we wanted the value to be 02. So that's what we wanted to do, the value to be 02, because we wanted to import the January file into February. Sorry, system kicked me out. I'm at the same spot again. In this case, what they want you to do is on the job header, and then they want you to go to the physical period, means we want to move it from one period to another period. So you can right click it, and then it goes to the value. Under the value, what you want to do is you wanted to move this to 02. In other words, we are moving it from 1 to your February. 2 is your second physical period, which is February, and then you say okay. Then you scroll down on the bottom of the screen, and then what we wanted is the posting date. So in this case, our posting date, again, you're going to do a right click it, and then when do we want to post it, the value, then again the value comes up, and then when do we want to post it, you could do it, change the date. In this case, this will be the date, it will be the first of the you could change this date. This date should be your February 28th. So you could do it, you want it to be going to February 28th. So this is not March, February. So in this case, I have to go to February 28th. So this is the date I wanted. Then what you want to do is, first you did which physical period, then which the posting date, and then you're going to scroll down to the document date. So I'm going to say okay. Now I'm going to go to my document date. So again, you're going to find the value, double click it, the system is not doing what it's supposed to do. Double click it, it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Sometimes these things do happen. So it came back. Do we have a value? And this value, what we wanted to use it, we wanted to change that to also to the February 28th, and we say okay. So we change. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down again, and then these things are journal entry. So next one we want to do is click on the journal details on which is the header at the top, and then we're going to do is we're going to go into the bottom and the journal date field. So we're going to go to at the bottom journal date field. So let's do that, and then journal date, where is it? Sorry, I clicked the journal date, right click, go to the type, and we wanted to change that date to February 28th. So that's what we wanted to do, 28th. And what we wanted to do is say okay. So now it's saying that the new viewer should be displaced. View the document date for each of the batches. The entry should be dated. Now if I go I say okay, and then I say close. Now if you look at it, I do have the entry for the 28th. So this is the entries for the 28th. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to I did it before, so the system what happened was my system was keep glitching, so that's why it didn't come with the add button. In this case it came. I'm just going to save it and leave it in there. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to close it. I'm not going to post that batch. Now what we're doing is we're ready to do a next one. What we wanted to do is I wanted to do a recurring transactions. So I wanted to do recurring transactions. So let's do that. We're going to be doing exercise 1610 for creating recurring entries. So what we have to do is we have to go into our GL setup folder. Under there we have recurring entries. So that's the entries, recurring entries. And then what we wanted to do is what we're going to do is recurring transaction report. That's what not a report, we're doing a recurring entry. So that's what we're going to be doing. In the code, what we're going to do is in other words, in this case there's nothing here, right? If there's nothing here, what we needed to do is we have to create a new one. We're going to call it AR entry. So that's what we wanted to entry in this case. And then what we're going to do is as the recurring code, and I'm going to do a tab, and the entry, the next one it comes up with is what we wanted to do is entry is your monthly, in this case monthly AR. So monthly, and we wanted to do it monthly AR. This is a monthly AR entry as the entry description, and the code, click on the finder, and we wanted to do the monthly. In this case we set it up in our second module when we did it. So in this case the 31st/01, what we're going to do is we are going to do press the tab to accept the no expiry date. And then what we're going to do is you're going to go to your description, and then description will be we have to do monthly AR. So that's what we're doing, monthly AR. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tab it over it. What is that? It's a journal entry. So let's do JE, and we're going to select it, and then it's going to be quick. In this case it's going to be quick, and then it's going to go to your reference. The first one is reference will be recurring transaction, RECU. Description will be monthly AR entry, and then that's what my description will be. The account, they want you to charge it to 1100, so we did the 1100. You go to your next one, and that's be your, we're leaving the amounts alone. We're going to leave it 0. So in other words, when the next month comes, all we're going to do is we're going to input the new amounts and then save it. So in this case my next one is your 4500, and that's for 100, and that's your sales account. My third one will be 4500 200, 4500 200 going forward, and then we have a 3100. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave this alone. In this case we're not going to add anything, because all the balances that will be in here will be 0 balances, because so we could enter next month. What we could do is we could enter them as we go when the amounts are available to us. So we're going to say add it, and then we're going to close it. So that means recurring transaction. So that's what it's called, that recurring transactions. So in this the next exercise 611, we're going to be learning about provisional posting, and that is done through the options. So if I were to do this, I will double click on the option, and then you go to the posting. If you look at it in the middle here, allow provisional posting. It's just similar to allowing the batches to be posted. If I click on this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on save, and then what we're going to go back, and then we're going to make this batch 8 to be provisional posting batch. And then what we needed to do is I'm going to close it here, and I have to go back to my transactions, and it's going to be on the batch list. Under the batch list, we wanted to do is a batch list of the 8, and we wanted this batch list to be provisional posting batch. So what we're going to do is highlight the batch 8 and then click on the provisional. Now if you look at the bottom, it's called a provisional post. So if I do that, it's going to tell me that the batch is not ready to post. We know that the batch is not ready to post. So then what we wanted to do is we needed to make this batch to be ready in order for us to do this batch to be a provisional post batch. So if I do that, see, it's when you do that, then you get a message in saying that it is batch has been provisionally posted. And then what we're going to do is we are going to click close this window. So in other words, we are in here, and then what we're going to do is we are going to make this ready. And once we're ready, and you're going to view the status of your batch, and the view of the status of the batch is ready to post. So in this case, the view of the batch is ready to post. Now you could double click. Now it's ready to post. What you could do is you're going to go to your posting journal. In this case, there's a different way of doing it. Now we can print the provisional report before you could do that. It's always good to print it before we could do that. So in this case, we could print. Could do that. We always should print, make it ready, make a print, make it ready, and then you post it. So that's what we want to do with that. Now we made this ready, so I'm going to close it. I'm going to go to my GL reports. From there, we're going to go to your posting journals. Double click. In this case, we wanted to it is a provisional posting journal, and what we wanted to do is we want to click on print. And once we click on print, it will show us the transaction that we did. That's what we wanted to do is, and I will close that. And of course, you could if our system is ready for PDF, you could kind of close the report, and then we'll close it. Now we can also, if we're here, what we're going to do is you could also do, printing the provisional trial balance. You could do that. There's some of the options that are available to you to do that. So these are some of the things that you needed to learn about provisional batches. So in this case, I'm not going to spend any time on provisional batches. Now you needed to kind of you don't have any other transactions to do. So what we're going to do is now what we are doing is we're ready to post this provisional batch. If you could do it in this one, or you could do it in your normal batch too. Whatever you find it easy, that's where you're going to do. It doesn't have to be in this, and I'll just say that in this case, what you wanted to do is if you click on that, then they wanted you to print it. You could post them and then print them. So that's what is completed. So that's what they are saying, the posting is completed. So that's what they're saying. So all those things are telling you how to do provisional batches. Now next part of the next part of the exercise that we have to do is how to do an allocation batch. Remember, we wanted to make sure our batch 8 batch is posted before we can get to that. So in this case, if we wanted to do is batch 8, we needed to post it. In this case, we wanted to post a provisional batch, and then we said is it ready to post, and then it is posted. So in this case it is posted. I didn't print it, so that's why sometimes the system creates a error message if you don't print it. We want to print it first, and then what we wanted to do is once it's printed, we wanted to make it ready, and then we post it. See, now it's printed. Once it's entered, printed, and then we are ready to post, and then we can do it. We can post the batch. It's entered and it's posted. So you could sometimes you have to do it once or twice because system doesn't kick in right away. So the next one is batch 8 needs to be posted in order for us to do an exercise 1612. 1612 is an allocation batch. Again, 1612 is an allocation batch. What we needed to do is we needed to create an allocation batch. So in this case, we're going to go into your GL account folder. In this case, this is my GL account folder. And what we wanted to do is under the GL account folder, we wanted to create a allocation batch. So this is what we wanted to do is we wanted to create an allocation batch. Before we can create the batch, we needed to know what is the balances in our account before we could do anything with this. So in this case, what we wanted to do is if you double click on an account, what we wanted to do is we want to know what the balance is sitting in our account in order to know what the balance is, so that we could create the allocation batch. In order to do it, we are going to go to the history and we're going to look at a couple accounts. In this case, the first account we're going to look at is 6020. So I'm going to look for that account 6020, and this is the main account. So we're looking at the main account 6020. I don't know where it is. So the next one was 100. Let's see if I have that. If I do the 100, I should have a balance. So in this case, we have a inquiry history. There should be a balance. In this case, it is not a 6020. Sorry, I'm doing a wrong account. I'm going to go to the finder 6020. Sorry, 6020. I'm going to go here. First one was that one I selected. There's a balance of 164, and then that's the balance. And then I'm going to look at 6040, and I'm going to look for the next one. There's no balance in here, and there's no balance. If you look at it now, I wanted to go to 6040, and there should be some balance, and that's 210. So there is balances. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to create an allocation batch under the GL. Let's go under the GL product processing. So this is where I'm going to get the allocation batch. So I'm not going to test you on the first one, but we're going to be testing you on the creating the allocation batch. Double click on the allocation batch icon. So let's look at creating an allocation batch. Double click on it. In this case, this is the description that comes in. The description will be called GL batch. GL allocation batch. You will get to know it later on, but it seems like a lot in this chapter. But what we're doing is we're learning different type of things. In this case, the GL batch, and then it's in the batch description, and then we're going to do is we're going to tab it, and then we're going to tab to the to accept the full ID. We're going to leave everything alone, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go to our date. Our date is 31st, the journal entry, and it is 21, and the year is 2021. Click on the process. What we're going to do is we are going to say process, and then it's going to do allocate. It's saying processing completed, all entries have been generated. We don't need to kind of worry about it, but the only time you're going to get an error message, batch 8 needs to be processed before we could do anything. You could do it a provisional post, or you could do it normal way. I don't have a problem with anything. So in this case, you could do anything. click on close, and then we're going to close it here, and then we're going to double click on the journal entry in the GL transaction. So we're going to go to GL, and if you look at it now, we should have a batch. Double click, it should have a, when you look at it, when you if we do the finder, in this case we're going to do the finder, and then what we're doing is, when you do the finder, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the allocation batch, and what we're going to, when you do it the right hand, if you go here, go further, there should be 334, and that's what it should be. So if I wanted to select that entry, this would be your batch number 10. If I select it, it automatically creates that batch, and that will be your batch 1. If you view the first entry and then do the arrow key, it will come up with these numbers. So you will have 3720 and 100 account, and then you have a batch. So what we did is we moved it something from 6020 to the next one. So that's what we did. So this is what we call the recurring allocation batch. So this is click on close. In this case, we click on close and complete the allocation process. And what we're going to do is, we enter the batch list. You have to, your allocation is there. You need to print it first. So if I were to do this, I will print it first. You always need to print first before you can post it. Otherwise, system doesn't, like, you want to know what you did. So these are your batches. So of course you can print it, and I'm not going to print them. And then once it's printed, you close it, and you made it ready. And once you're ready, you have to post it. So then you're going to say post. So sequence is complete, so we know we completed it. Now what happens in the next one, we're creating a recurring recurring entries batch. So let's do that too. So we're going to double click on the recurring arrow batch in the periodic inventories, periodic processing system. And what we're going to do is, we're creating a recurring batch. In this case, this is the date that comes up, and what we wanted to do is, we want the system to recur the transaction. In other words, the same transaction that we did previously, we wanted to know if we can enter the balance in that account. So let's do that. We accept the date, and then what we're going to do is, we're going to leave from and to blank. And what we wanted to do is, we wanted to correct it to default to be a default. And then if I say in this case, I'm going to process it, the system automatically corrected it. Click on close, and then what we wanted to do is, and we wanted to close it here, and we're going to go to your batch again. And in this case, you will be going into GL batch. In this case, if I go, what I did is, I told the system that I wanted to create a recurring batch. So I told the system to pick up what I did previously under recurring, and then what I wanted to do is, I wanted to go in there, and then system should create the recurring batch for me. Now what I wanted to do is, I wanted to enter the values in here. It's going to come back with a 0 in everywhere. What I wanted to do at this point is, I wanted to put it in the numbers that needed to be done. So in this case, our accounts receivable balance should be at the end of the year, end of the month. Somebody's going to give you these numbers, so I'm just going to put it in here. So 39065.23, and then I'm going to go to the next one. It is my credit. You're going to go to the credit balance, and it's going to be 15,245. And then you go to the next one, and that is your 19,326. And then we have a next one, and we have 4494.23. So 0.23. Now what happens is that now our entry balance, did I entry balance? No, our entry did not balance because my numbers are incorrect. So I should have 4494.23. So 449423. So let's see if our entry balance. Yes, our entry is balanced. What I'm going to do is we save it and close it. Now we are here again. You have to make your batch ready, print first. So let's print that batch. So once it's prints, you print it and you do a PDF. You always wanted to read a PDF because that's what we're asking you to do. We close it and close it. Is it ready to post? We say yes. And then what we're doing is we are going to post it. So post the journal. So in this case, we post it and saying that sequence 6 is completed. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted to show you how to do our reversing transaction. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new batch, and that batch will be in our batch number 12. So in this case, we're going to create a new batch, and that batch will be a batch number 12. And then we are going to show you how to do petty cash, and it is petty cash and journal entry. Cash, and it is our journal entry. And our first, in this case, what is your description? Replenish, R-E-P-L-I-N, replenish, P-L. So when are we doing it? In this case, we're doing it on 01. In this case, it's a journal entry. Again, I'm not going to be asking you to do all the allocation batch or recurring batch for the test number 1, but we're just showing you because it's shown in the chapter. So your batch 1, the reference will be a cash. And then you're going to do the description. Description will be replenish petty cash. And the account, they want you to charge it to 1030. And let's do our 1030. Go forward. And what do we debit? Debit 175. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go to the next one. Our next is 1000. And then when we go there, we are going to go and enter the amount in 175. Now, again, in order for us to reverse it, you have to add it. You have to go to your batch list. You have to print it first. And before you could print it, you're going to print it first, and then you can make it ready to post. You have to post it in order to reverse it. In order to reverse it, you have to post it first before you could before it can be reversed. So let's do that. We print it, and then we'll say print number 12. So we close it. Once it print, you could save it. And now what I want to do is ready to post, and I'm going to say yes, I want it to ready to post. So this is, I'm ready to post. Now what I'm going to do is you're going to post this batch. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted to reverse it. So in order for you to 7 is completed, close it. What I wanted to do is you have to be in the same list. The status is posted. Of course, we posted. If you think the only way you can post in other words, batches can be posted from here too, if you wanted to do that. But I always do it from the batch list. So in this case, what we wanted to do is, if you look at it, it entered and it is posted. What we wanted to do is we wanted to highlight that batch. If we highlight it, what I wanted to do is we wanted to reverse it. So how do we reverse it? How do we reverse it? You highlight it. So in this case, when you highlight the batch number 3, then what you want to do is you wanted to open that batch in order for us to reverse it. So now I'm in the open window, and this is my open window. If you click on at the bottom of your screen, so in the bottom of the screen you have something called reverse. I click on reverse. The question is asking me which entry do I want entry to be reverse, or do I want my batch to be reverse. So in this case, I'm going to click on it. I don't want the one entry because there's more than one entry. I want the whole batch to be reversed. So I'm going to click on my on the radio button here to click on batch 12, and then what I wanted to do is click on the new I'm going to click on the new icon beside the number field. In this case, where is the new beside the number field? So that's what they want us to do. In other words, what we want to do, the system is going to create a new batch for us if I do this, because I don't want it to be reversing the same. So I'm going to do it 13. So I'm going to say the new batch, and it's going to reverse the batch. And once it's reversed the batch, what I wanted to do is now I can do is now, of course, it's a new batch, right? The batch will be reverse batch, but what we wanted to do is we wanted to add a description. It's not a reverse batch, it is petty cache as the in this case, right beside it, we wanted to what batch we are reversing, the petty cache batch we are reversing. So petty cache, and we are going to say January 2023 because we made a mistake. We wanted to reverse that. And then what we wanted to do is we are going to accept the original, and then what we're going to do is we are going to process it, and then it's saying, are you sure? The question is asking us to sure, and if we are sure, we say yes. If you're not sure, you could say no, but we are sure at this point, we say yes. So now it says process completed, created one entry in batch 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this, and then if I close this, we're going to close this. And what we're going to do is this was closed, and I'm going to do is to go to batch number 13. Now if I go to batch number 13, the entry is reverse, so it's the opposite, which is okay. So now we are gonna the entry is reversed, so process the, now what we're going to do is we are going to again print it. I'm going to print batch number 13. Once I print it, I'm going to make it ready to post. So I close it, and I'm going to close it here. I'm going to make it, make it ready. Yes. And I'm going to post it, and once it's posted, the number 8 is done. So the entry is reversed, and we have done everything that we needed to do. So in other words, what we wanted to do is now we wanted to print some reports. Even though we've been printing it as we go, what you could do is you could print everything that you needed to print. So in this case, I'm not going to show you how to print it. The printing is done through the report. So this is where you could go to the posting journals. You could do the recurring entries, you can post them, print them. You can do the allocation batch, you can do that. So all those things can be printed depending on what the question is asking you to print. Thank you for listening to me. I know this is a long chapter, but this chapter has a lot of information that will be helpful in your future modules. And this time I'm done for lecture module 6. Thank you for listening. Do give me a feedback if you like the module or not. Thank you. Bye for now.